I'm back a day later doing a quick follow-up here to the video that I posted yesterday. So some quick notes. I really wanted to check and see how close all of you all were paying attention. So the number that I came up with yesterday, the math within the number wasn't wrong, but I kept thinking after I posted the video, I kept thinking, this seems too high. Like it's an awesome number, but it's like, really, is it would Apple stock after all the splits have really been worth that much? And the funny thing, according to Google, like you see here, if you Google the price, how much was Apple stock in 1987? Google shows you 34 cents a share. But this is, like I said in the video I did yesterday, this is the post-split adjusted price. And the funny thing, it's actually harder to find real historical data on the dollar price of a stock going that far back. I mean, these sites will show you, like, I mean, if you go to Google and then you even click on the first site that it recommends here, you can see the same thing on this chart here from Macro Trends. You can see it's coming up here. I mean, this is all accurate, but you see the same thing. You see going back to 1987. Scroll down to get out of this pop-up here. Going back to 1987, around the time of the split, it says 28 cents a share. So I'm like, there's no way. And if you look, the price that Apple actually went public for in 1980 was $22 a share. So if I just take that price to make things more realistic, say that you put $10,000, and to notice this, you would have had to stay tuned all the way through halfway into my video to pick up on this little detail here that I said if 10,000 were invested in Apple. So realistically, if 10,000 were invested when it went public in 1980 at a price of $22 a share, it would have bought this many shares, 455. So doubling, and then just ignore these numbers because they're not right. So doubling, 2 for 1, 2 for 1. So the first 3 splits were 2 for 1. And then in 2014, there was a 7 for 1 split. 2020, there was a 4 for 1 split. So realistically, it would have been, according to this, 17.5 million, which is still phenomenal. I mean, the bottom line is that you have way more money than you started with over time. That's the whole point of investing, right? Like not only you're outpacing inflation, but you're getting such a greater return for your money than what you started with. So in this case, starting with 10,000, ending up with 17.5 million, which divided by the 33 years, 528,000 a year, still phenomenal. I would take that right now. And 44,000 per month, which sign me up right now. But the math in my example, like I said, based on the sources that I looked at offhand, the math was right. But just taking the $22 per share price that it went public for in 1980, you would have needed a little bit more money. You would have needed almost $500,000 back in the 1980s, which was easy to come by, right? Probably not. But the idea, like I said, it takes a little bit of money to make a lot more. The bigger that little tiny bit of money is, the bigger the pie is where you end up, which is the core concept of investing. So the 20,000 shares, and even when I was doing this, I was like, this is just too good to be true. Like for this amount, like it couldn't have been like 48 cents a share back then. Like I knew better, but so looking here, so saying that you bought at the IPO price in 1980, this number of shares, $458,326 divided by 22 would buy this many shares. And there's probably, I'm sure there's people out there that actually did this. They're probably not posting on YouTube though, right? So this example, the person that had this much money back then would end up with almost $1 billion today. And on the other hand, the person that had 10,000 that put it in back then would end up with this amount of money today. And I just want to give a quick shout out here to the readily available information here. By the way, some product placement too, my iPhone. Oh, it doesn't recognize me with my awesome glasses on. But I just want to make a point here. So yeah, so when you see this is really, that's what that gets. So that was source number one. Source number two, the current price is correct, but again, even going towards the table here, 1987, the price even on Apple's own website, they say here 10 cents a share. The offering price at Apple's initial public offering on a split adjusted basis. I mean, it's true, but it's misleading because you can calculate that like I did and say, wow, I would have this much money today. The concept is correct. You start out with a little bit and you have a lot, but just interpreting that on a pure basis, I got to give that a twice. And then another good site I found here. Well, this is the street. Let's see. How much would 1,000 be worth today? Keep getting ads for glasses. Stop sending me those. I've already got glasses. So this is pretty good. Returns of up to 310,000%. Again, still phenomenal. But I just really, the video I put out yesterday, I wanted to really check and see. I was waiting for somebody to fact check me. And on my watch time on my channel metrics, typically I see that if I post a 10-minute video, the average duration of the watch time, it's lucky to make it close to halfway. If that, it's never like the full duration on average, which is obviously skewed by people that click on it and watch maybe the first 30 seconds, say, all right, this is boring, I'm out of here. But if you notice in the video, if you were paying close attention, I got to the spreadsheet by about mid video. So anyway, yeah, returns of up to 310,000%, which is again still phenomenal at the IPO price, 1.2 million, 19% annualized return in about 40 years. And somebody's calling me in to tell me what an awesome job I did on the video, I guess, yesterday, but I'm going to ignore them for now. So yeah, there's that. What else can I show here? A good site here called Quora, but they want you to pay for it if you read like more detail. Someone had posted on here 10,000 in Apple when it went public. Somebody was disgruntled about the hypotheticals, but I disagree with that person because you want to focus on the historic data because history repeats itself, right? And you have to learn from it. Planning on time traveling. Wouldn't we love to do that? Wouldn't we love to travel back to the 1980s and buy some Apple stock? This is close to the example in my first video here. But again, I don't want to make the example, even though the math in that example was right, I'm sure very few people did that or could do that back then. So I wanted to make it more reasonable, like something that could be repeated today. Like it's more common for somebody to maybe have $10,000 than 500,000 just sitting around to throw at a stock. So I just kind of wanted to correct that and kind of show different ways to find information and how sometimes the information at your fingertips may not quite be what you're looking for. Okay, so yeah, there's that. So Quora, and then what else? Oh, I showed you this already, but yeah, just Googling, this is what you come up with, and this is how you would formulate an example like I did in the video yesterday. Again, the math's not wrong. You just would have needed a little bit more money to come up with this dollar amount. But still, I would take both right now. Like, sign me up today. And with that, thank you so much for tuning in again. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good rest of your weekend. Thank you.